Welcome to my views and news. Some news stories for you. Firstly, 5 billion Ethiopian birds have been announced for Tigray. Secondly, some statements, developments linked to the ongoing conflict within the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. We saw clashes, tear gas firing, use of force by security forces in Oromia. And tomorrow is crucial for Jimma. Sunday is crucial for Jimma. Why? And Archbishop of Addis Ababa used the term genocide today in connection with what happened in Oromia. Thirdly, viewers, some Eritrean ambassadors, it seems, cannot live without criticizing TPLF. An Eritrean ambassador who a few days ago said that he had stopped writing about TPLF because TPLF was no more a significant political entity in the Horn of Africa. Tweeted about TPLF again today. Who is he? What did he say? Firstly, viewers, after the meeting between TPLF leaders and Ethiopian PM Abiy has passed some decisions. Getachew Reda raised some questions and other TPLF leaders too at the meeting with PM Abiy. And Ridwan Hussein announced, the National Security Advisor, he announced a few minutes ago that PM Abiy has passed a decision regarding sending a 5 billion Ethiopian birrs to Tigray, and this dispensation will start on Monday. National Bank has been directed to send 5 billion Ethiopian birrs to Tigray, and number of flights to Tigray has been increased from 3 to 5. People were facing problems because all flights are booked. Firstly, is this 5 billion dollar, 5 billion birr, no dollar, is this 5 billion birr amount of money for Tigray regional government? Or is it for Tigray's banks? Because Tigray's banks have been facing shortage of cash and people have not been able to withdraw their own money. And there have been restrictions on withdrawal. So is this money for the banks from where Tigray will withdraw? Or is it for Tigray regional government, which is in need of cash because it is unable to pay the people, government officials, and it is in need of money for different government functions. It's not clear. If it is for Tigray regional government, it's a huge development because regional government is going to be removed. Interim setup is going to be put in place in Tigray. At least that is what Pretoria Agreement states, that an interim government will be established in Tigray. And interim government will hold regional election. And then new government will take office. But if 5 billion Ethiopian birds are being given to the TPLF-led regional government, it means that Ethiopian federal government trusts TPLF. Level of trust is arising, it seems, between the two sides. Whatever the case is, Tigray regional government, people of Tigray, they need money. Nothing is happening in Tigray. All economic activity at a standstill, people in need of food, no businesses running, teachers, doctors, government officials, all are without salaries. So money is needed. Secondly, I could not cover Getachew Reda's interview because of ongoing religious tensions in Ethiopia. A lot happened today in Shashemene. We saw that. Getachew was interviewed by Ethiopian state media and it was broadcast yesterday. And he raised several important questions. He talked about banking, that banking had resumed. It was symbolic. People were not able to withdraw their money. He talked about the need for a restoration of transport link between Tigray and neighboring regions. And he talked about the need for resolving conflicts through talks. He said that it should be a lesson for all that political conflicts should be resolved through dialogue. Otherwise, millions die in armed confrontation. He acknowledged that progress has been made in regarding the implementation of peace deal, though he said that trust was gradually building between Tigray regional government, TPLF, and Ethiopian federal government. He said that people should be held accountable, including him, that he was ready to be questioned. And he talked about neighbors too. He said neighbors cannot be changed. So that is why all should respect their neighbors. It means Tigray-Amhara relations, Tigray-Afar relations, maybe Tigray-Eritrea relations should improve. So all positive gestures shown by Getachew at his interview with Ethiopian state media last night. Overall, we can say Getachew is, he knows how to talk. He has been in top positions at the cabinet in the past. So, a bit surprising that a few months ago, Abiy was genocider and TPLF was a terrorist entity. Now you see. So, that is what should have been thought in advance when the two parties were spreading hate against each other. When thousands were dying, no one cared for the lives of innocent people. Secondly, several developments regarding the ongoing tensions within the Orthodox Church, especially in Oromia. Jimma is going to be the place where tomorrow a new bishop appointed by the splinter faction is going to assume charge. Like the appointees today assumed charge in Shashemene, where we saw clashes, several killed, several injured in Shashemene today, and in Chiro, Harage, police fired tear gas as well. So what will happen in Jimma tomorrow? That remains to be seen, because in Jimma, Abune Stefanos has been removed, loyal to Abune Matthias faction. And we know that Abune Takle Havariat is the new archbishop. He will assume office tomorrow in Jimma. Tomorrow means a Sunday. So will there be similar incidents in Jimma like we saw in Shashemene today? Because on Saturday in the morning, there were some protests in Jimma in support of Orthodox Church led by Abune Matthias. So, could there be an attempt to rally Orthodox followers at the church where the new bishop is going to take charge? It remains to be seen. But since main archbishop has been removed from Jimma, Abune Stefanos, we might not see the same scenes like we saw, the violence like we saw in Shashemene today. Meanwhile, an Ethiopian archbishop used the word genocide. Abune Hinok, Addis Ababa archbishop, talked about what happened in Rome today, and he said it was genocide of Orthodox believers. Third time in the last 2 years that we have heard use of this term. Tigray using it for the last 2 years, that genocide of Tigrayans being committed. Then ethnic Amharas, they used this term. They said that Amharas being massacred across Ethiopia, especially in Valaga. Genocide of Amharas being committed. Now the church says that Orthodox Church followers, the genocide is being committed. So all are making claims of a genocide. Meanwhile, Identities of those who have been killed in Shashemene are now being revealed. One of the killed was a deacon. His name is Ayale Mendafro. You can see his picture on your screen. He was killed in Shashemene today. Overall, in RC, in Harage, the splinter faction has taken control of main churches. Tensions were there, but security forces supported the new faction. Security forces did aerial firing, then it did some state firing as well. Orthodox believers, the followers, some were injured, some were killed too. But the new faction has managed to take control of churches. It has consolidated its control of churches in eastern Romania. Let's see what happens in central Romania tomorrow on a Sunday in Jimma. Lastly, viewers, an Eritrean ambassador who a few days ago said that TPLF was no more worth discussing and he would not write or say anything about TPLF again, tweeted about TPLF a few hours ago. He tweeted about the meeting between PM Abiy and TPLF leaders, and he made fun of TPLF leaders. He said that now the group is saying that their struggle has taken them to this peace. He said, shut up. Use this sort of language. Ambassador Bijine is his name. He's Eritrean ambassador to Kenya. It seems Eritrean ambassadors cannot live without talking about TPLF. This atmosphere of bitterness should come to an end. These two sides should learn how to live like good neighbors. A lot has happened. So many have died. Both have suffered. Tigray has suffered more. But this pride of having achieved a military victory on Eritrean side should turn into humility. It should turn into sort of desire for constructive engagement with Tigray. That is the way forward for the people of the two sides. Otherwise, we'll keep on seeing what we've been seeing for the last 3 decades.